Right now, I'm going to show you exactly how to steal your first Airbnb. This is a steal because I'm going to give you the exact credit blueprint to get the capital from the banks to fund this investment. And this is a steal because you're going to get the exact game plan that I use to get my first Airbnb right now. So without further ado, let's jump into it. There's a couple things we need to remember. When we're applying for credit cards, banks are not going to check our income statements or our tax returns, or if you even have a successful business or not. Okay, the only thing banks will ask for are your projected income, your household income, your estimated monthly spend, and your estimated amount of employees inside of your business. Knowing this, we are going to be extremely optimistic about any business card applications or personal card applications that we fill out because we know they're not checking. So we want to boost our optimism on the numbers that we're going to be making for the year in that business. Now, with that being said, let's talk about the basic credit stack and the business stack that we're going to utilize to get into this Airbnb. And stick around for the whole video because I'm going to go deep into the actual specifications on how we get the property in just a second. Now, the first thing you need to do if you're starting fresh and your credit history is thin, you need to get an authorized user added on your credit file. You can do this through a family member that has a good card, that has a high credit limit, low utilization, and a good credit age. If a family member is down to do it, just have them call the number on the back, add you as an AU on the card. They'll send the card in the mail, and you can just have them chop that credit card in half so you're unable to spend on it because we don't need to spend on the card. We just are looking to inherit their history. Okay. If you can't do that, I highly recommend this amazing website called Trade Line Genie. This is a screenshot I took of some of the trade lines that were available last week, and they have incredible accounts on there. 2014 Barclays card with a $13,000 limit. That's going to boost your credit age. It's going to show that you have, sufficient credit limits on a file. And when we go and apply for our first credit card at Chase, we're going to get an approval because of that history that we inherited. Okay. Now, step two, once we've added an AU and it's been on our credit for 30 days or more, we're going to go into Chase and we're going to open up two checking accounts. The first one is going to be a personal checking. Second one is going to be a business checking. Now, you are going to need an LLC to open up that business checking account. And I highly recommend you just use LegalZoom. It's a website that does everything for you. They'll send in your articles of organization, your EIN number, and operating agreement if you want one. They do everything. Okay. Time is money. These guys have saved me a lot of time. So you pay a couple $100, get your LLC. Make sure it's in a low risk industry. Okay. Although we are building a real estate business, banks do not want to fund high risk businesses. Real estate is a high risk business. So what we're going to do here is we're going to strategically open up a consulting business that's going to consult our Airbnb business. And that is the business we're going to fund. Okay. If you do want to do it like this and stay organized with accounting, then I recommend you open up two LLCs. One of the LLCs is going to be for the revenue coming in from your Airbnb. The other LLC is going to be the consulting business that's going to get the business credit at 0% that we're going to then use to fund the Airbnb business. Okay. Now, once you have the LLCs, you're going to make sure you're seasoning these bank accounts that you just opened with minimum $500 to $1,000 for 30 days before we apply for our first credit card. Now, some extra bonus tips. If you have one of the following accounts, a mortgage, a pledge loan, Navy Fed has great ones. This is basically a bank account, like a savings account that reports as a credit account on your file. So it's going to build up history. It's going to have a installment account in place of that savings account. And then they just give the money back to you once it's all paid off. So you can open up a pledge loan. This is going to report as a trade line. Any personal loans, car loans, student loans, these are all going to strengthen your credit history. So if you have one of these, great. If not, not a big deal. Okay, now before we go and apply for our first card, we want to make sure that we have this down. Okay, you want to have knowledge of what makes up your credit score because you might be seeing a 700 score, but if you do not have sufficient accounts, even though your score is 700, you don't have enough history to get approved for cards. So it's very important that we understand the dynamics of what makes up our credit. So going in order of most important, Payment history is 35%. Very easy. Just put your cards on auto pay. Make sure they're paying before the statement date, at least 3 days before every single month, and you're taken care of. You should never have late payments on your credit file. Amounts owed, this is a utilization. Make sure your utilization is always under 30%. But bonus tip, if you want the best credit and you're trying to get that 800 score, keep it between 0 and 10% utilization. Okay, that just means you can't leave on more than 10% past the statement date, because that's when they're going to report to the credit bureaus. Okay, new accounts. This is how many new accounts you're applying for. So ideally, you just want to have under 3 inquiries in a 6-month period if you're applying for a new account. So this isn't too hard. Okay, length of history. This is going to be significantly boosted by this AU that we're adding, right? If you have an AU that's from 2014, that's 11 years old. That's going to increase your length of history. And then finally, types of credit. This is just having a variety, a wide mix of accounts. This is what lenders want to see. If you have good standing with 10, 15 accounts from all different banks and lenders, then when you go and apply for business credit, they're going to see you as trustworthy. Okay. Now, knowing what makes up our score, we're ready to apply for card number 1. Okay. Now, I understand you are ready to get into business credit and you want that 0% interest credit. In order to do that, though, we need to be strategic, we need to be smart, and we need to follow a game plan. And most importantly, we have to have patience with this plan. Okay. So the first thing you need to do is you need to build up your personal file, because we will not get approved for any business without a good personal foundation. Okay. Card number 1, you want to use the Freedom Unlimited for your first card. Okay. This is a beginner card, but they still give you incredible sign-up bonus. You get 0% for 15 months and you get points, and you could redeem those points through Ultimate Rewards, and you can transfer it to transfer partners. So if you like traveling for free, this is the bank to start with, Chase. Okay. Now we're going to build history on each one of these credit cards for a sufficient amount of time before we apply for the next one. This is very important. Do not jump the gun here and skip steps. If you get approved for this card and then the next day you go and apply for your second credit card, you will be denied. You don't have enough history yet. They just gave you $500 or $1,000 credit limit. Why do you want more credit? They already see you as sketchy. Okay, so you want to make sure you're building on this card, putting all your expenses on it for at least 91 days. After that, now you can go in again, apply for a intermediate card, and this would be an airline card with Chase. They have a partnership with United, and with the United Mileage Plus Explore card, you're going to get probably between a $3,000 to $5,000 credit limit. So now we're moving up in the higher limits. We're going to get free check bags, club lounge access, a 60,000 point sign-up bonus, and it's great. Now we have, more capabilities to travel. Okay, we're going to use this card for 90 days. And then on the 91st day, we're going to go ahead and apply for our advanced card. This is going to be a Chase Sapphire Reserve. And what's so great about this card is they have to approve you for a $10,000 limit minimum. Okay, that's the lowest they'll approve you for. So odds are, if you did everything right, you might even get more. And this is going to look incredible when we go and apply for the business cards. Okay, other cool things about this card, you get a 60,000 point sign-up bonus, 3x points on food and travel. You get 1.5 times more points when you redeem them for travel through the Ultimate Rewards portal. And just like the other ones, we're going to use this card for 90 days. Okay, while you're using each new card, you want to make sure the past cards have at least one recurring charge on it every month to keep that card active. Okay, if you stop using them altogether, you're at risk of Chase just shutting down the card, and then you're going to lose all the history and we got to start over again. So be diligent. Once again, every single step must be completed. Do not miss. Now, as I said, patience is required in credit, but we're getting free access to money. So obviously we're going to have to pay the price for it, right? Total time needed for this is 300 days. Okay, if you follow this exact plan, everything I just told you, you're getting all this done in less than a year. Okay, and you're going to have total personal credit limits anywhere between $15,000 to $20,000. Pretty good, okay? And total hard inquiries for this entire sequence is 3, okay? Because you don't get a hard inquiry when you add an AU. Okay, now, because we have 3 inquiries, it's very important that we only have less than 3 inquiries in the past 6 months. Now, because this took more than 6 months, we are going to only have 2 inquiries when it's time to apply for the business cards. Now, let's get into my favorite Airbnb business credit stack. Now, before I talk about the specific cards, there's some really important things you must note for applying for business cards, okay? You only want to apply, like I said, with 3 inquiries or less in the past 6 months, okay? If you have more, just wait, okay? Be patient. Once you have 2 reporting in the past 6 months on all 3 of your credit bureaus, now you're good to go, okay? You want to apply with relationship managers. Any bank that has relationship manager access, you do the application through them. There is a reason for this because we can request much higher limits. They go directly to the underwriter, which is a person instead of the automated system online, and they're going to work to get you that high approval. Okay. You want to season the money in the Chase business checking, like we talked about, for minimum 30 days. But if you open it up first, when you open your personal checking, that money's probably been sitting there for months and months and months now. So it is sufficiently seasoned and you have good history at Chase. Now, talking more specifically about the applications, you always want to say you're employed on these apps. Okay. Be very optimistic with your estimated revenue and your monthly spend. Why would I get into business and Airbnb if I only want to make $500 a month, right? I want to build this thing to $50,000 in profit every single month. Now, wouldn't that be nice? Why can't I dream big? Okay, so with knowing that, I'm going to put that I'm going to have a lot of employees in this business because obviously I need help with all the tasks. I'm going to put that I'm spending $30,000, $40,000 a month on my card because I'm going to have a lot of expenses. If you want to make money, you got to spend money. And revenue, I'm gonna shoot high. I'm gonna shoot for the moon with revenue. Okay, and that's what I'm gonna be putting on my applications. If you want more help specifically on what to put on the applications, you can click the link down below, and I have an entire program that helps you build out your own credit plan, and I walk you through the whole thing step by step. Anyway, getting into the cards now. We want to get our foot in the door with Amex first, and so it's very important that we first apply for a charge card. You can go ahead and pick the Amex Business Gold or the Amex Business Platinum. In this example, I'm using the Platinum because I want to really kind of customize this for travel, freedom, passive income. And the Platinum is going to give us Centurion Lounge access, which is one of the best airline lounges in the world. You're going to get 1.5x purchases over 5K. This is important because if we're shopping for furniture, right, and we have a big order of over $5,000 for Airbnb, we're going to get 7,500 points for that purchase, which is great. And like I said, this is going to get our foot in the door with Amex. We're going to get 1 inquiry here. And the cool thing about Amex is you could double dip or even triple dip. Because we got 1 inquiry, they're no longer going to pull anymore. We're now internally in their system. So anytime I apply for more Amex cards, they're not going to pull hard inquiries, which is incredible. Okay, now we're ready for card 2 and 3. Card 2 and 3 is going to be the Business Plus and the Business Cash. These are both 0% for 12 months. And if you're approved, you're immediately going to apply for the next one. Okay. Now, if you're not happy with the limit you get, let's say you get approved for 6K or 7K, right? You're going to call the number on the back as soon as you receive the card in the mail and request 3x the limit that you received. 90% of the time, they will approve it. Now, if you did get approved for 15 to 20K on a single card, it's less likely that it's going to happen. So it's really all about that initial limit you get approved to see if you're going to do that step. Okay. All these cards I'm going to go over right now, there's no annual fees. So I see you guys in the comments, oh, but what about the credit card fees? Dude, the benefits of these cards far outweigh the small fees anyway. And I went and found cards that have no annual fees, so there's absolutely no excuses. Okay. Once you finish card 2, you're going to go into card 3. This is 0% for 12 months. Once again, same steps. If you're not happy with the limit, call in a number on the back, 3x increase. If you get it, great. If not, we already got it on the first one. Okay. Now we're going to go into Chase. Okay. Once again, apply in branch with a relationship manager. These are 0% for 12 months. Chase gives out the highest limits by far. They have huge sign-up bonuses and projected credit limit on these. I'll just say on the lower end, 15 to 30K to be conservative. Once you get approved, then you apply for the other one. Now, if you only got 3, and let's say, you got this one approved and you got denied for the last one, it's all good, right? We'll take what we can get here. And, if we did everything right and you followed all the steps, you should have 45 grand from just these cards. If you get this one approved, then you have 60K minimum at 0%. All depending on your file. If you guys already had past history and really good credit, you can get up to 120 grand just from this stack. Okay. And the total time needed for all of these cards, 7 days or less, right? So it's like the iceberg, right? We put in all that work over the past 300 days And now the last 7 days, we get all the fun stuff, right? A nice 60 to 120K. This is all at 0% interest for 12 months. None of this credit utilization or balances is going to report on your personal credit. It is all hidden. So we are, able to use all of this credit for our Airbnb business without being negatively affected in any way. Okay. Now let's get into the fun stuff. Okay. Believe it or not, you can all get into your first Airbnb arbitrage property with $10,000 to $20,000 in 0% credit. That's all you need. So if you have 60 grand, you can potentially get 2 to 3 rental arbitrage units. Okay. Now arbitrage is exactly what it sounds like. We can't purchase a home, right? Because down payments are 20%. If we're getting a $500,000 home, it's going to be a lot of money. So because we have 0% credit, we are going to be smart with our money here. We're going to arbitrage the property, which means I'm going to pay first month, last month security deposit, rent a property that allows me to do so. I'm going to put it on Airbnb. I'm going to get my revenue. I'm going to pay my rent and expenses, and I'm left with the difference, which is my profit. Okay, now let's get into the specifics here. And this is where you might want to pause the video so you can go and do these steps. But I've taken this exact steps and all these frameworks from my good friend, Blake, who spoke inside of our program credit class, and he gave us his entire blueprint for free. So these are some of the incredible guests that we have come speak inside of credit class. My network is made up of all 7, 8, and 9-figure entrepreneurs. Blake is a 27-year-old who owns $39 million worth of Airbnbs. So he came on, taught a masterclass, and I'm giving you guys just a small snippet of what we're able to learn from him and what we have inside of our Airbnb course inside my program. So we're going to start on airdna.com, okay? We're going to find a city that is Airbnb friendly, right? There's all kinds of rules and laws with Airbnb. Miami, there's only like 2 buildings downtown that you're actually allowed to do Airbnb in. So you want to make sure that the township, the city is allowing you to do Airbnb, specifically with the building as well. Look up the building, find the manager, call them, and start to negotiate and, show them your business plan. If they allow it, they're going to want to make sure the numbers check out as well. Okay, so you want to present this, use ChatGPT with everything you're finding here, make it all organized, and most likely you're going to have to present a business plan before you sign your lease. Okay, now we're going to use Fort Lauderdale for this example because it's an incredible market for Airbnb. That's actually where I got my Airbnb. And we want to find markets that have A- market grade or higher. We're going to use AirDNA. This is a free website that gives us all this information. We want to find markets that have 70% occupancy rate or higher. We want to find markets that have, or homes rather, that have more bedrooms, okay? Because obviously the more bedrooms, the more people can sleep, the more money we can make. Usually people travel in groups, okay? And we want to make sure they have lenient Airbnb rules, which Fort Lauderdale has, okay? Next, we want to go to Zillow and we want to look up the city you want to start in. So I got Zillow pulled up right here. Right. And I found, a nice home that is only $4,000 a month. Okay. I'm able to see all the pictures, right? This is a beautiful pool. Okay. This pool is awesome. And we're going to be able to do a lot with this if we, fix the furniture and make it a little nicer. Okay. Now, what you want to do is you want to, on Zillow, check the rent box, right? Because we don't want to look up homes for purchase. We want to look up homes for rent. You want to go then to AirDNA and we want to find the comps, right? What do the comps look like in that area? So I found this nice property on Zillow. Okay. The pool is beautiful, right? And then I went on AirDNA and Airbnb and I found a comp. Okay. This comp is amazing. It's $434 a night. Okay. I was able to check on the calendar and this thing is booked out basically all year. Okay. Especially in the wintertime, it is fully booked, right? And the price was around the exact same. Okay, I looked up this property. I'm able to see what they're paying. And, I'm able to look up this one here and it's comparable. Okay, it's pretty comparable. It's near the water, great location. It's very close to the beach, right? So we have almost everything we need here. Obviously, we're just going to have to touch up the furniture and take way better photos. As you can see here, these photos are incredible, right? It's really all about the image that you present. The cover is so important for Airbnb. That's going to make people book. Okay. Anyway, like I said, we want to find homes that look similar and that are doing well. And that's how we're going to start making our decisions. Now, talking about the specifics of the income, we want to make sure we have 20% cash on cash returns on any given property that we're doing. Now, this is an Airbnb calculator that my students get access to inside of my program. And I use this for any properties that I'm looking at. So really, I can put in any number here. I can put in cash flow. I can put in, where the home is located, what it costs, and it's going to spit out all these numbers for me automatically. Okay, so this home is incredible, right? It says good rental. Okay. Now, the monthly cash flow is here, $4,670. Annual cash flow, $56,040. My monthly rental revenue right here on this property specifically is $10,125. The annual rental revenue is going to be $121,000. Okay, now once you take out all the fees and everything of our expenses, you get an annual cash flow of $56,000 for this property. Okay. Now, this was a bit of an expensive unit, but you can do this for really anything. And you just want to make sure that your cash on cash is over 20%, right? You want to make sure the occupancy rate is over 75%, and you want to make sure that it makes sense, right? Because in 1 year, the entire goal is we want to not only pay off the credit card, right? Because if it takes $20,000 to get in a property, we're going to take first month, last month security deposit, and furnishing the home. Comes out to around 20 grand. And then with all the revenue coming in, we're going to pay off that credit card. Now, I already know what you're thinking. Colin, what if I screw up? What if everything goes wrong and I can't pay off that card within the first year and I need more time? Well, guys, guess what? I already taught you how to build out your personal credit file the best way possible, right? So if you're maintaining this great personal credit file that we built out and you maintain a high credit score and everything looks good, after this first year, if for whatever reason you need to do a balance transfer onto new credit cards, well, then we show you exactly how to fund your round 2 of business credit. Okay, so we'll go to other tier 1 banks and other smaller lenders, and we're going to go ahead and get a second round of funding for 60 to 120K. Then we can call the number on all the backs of our cards, and we can balance transfer over to the new 0% for another year. Okay, now that's at a worst case, but you get the point. With using business credit, you now have options. Okay. You're not out all your money. If we just use our 60 grand and we lost it because we did a horrible job picking the property, which you should never do because you have all the guidance you need inside my program, then you still have options. You're not out all your money. You didn't even use your money. You used the bank's money. And now we have options to mitigate our risk and transfer balances to more 0% and give us another year to fix the property, get the pictures better, make sure that we're able to pay off these cards. Okay. So this is the power of credit. This is such an incredible opportunity that a lot of people are sleeping on. It is not that hard to get into a rental arbitrage unit. It takes a little bit of work, but with the right tools, with the information I've showed you today, with calculators like my friend Blake's that he has given us access to, you are able to get this done in a timely manner and very efficiently. So if you are ready to get your first Airbnb and you want 0% capital to do it, all you have to do is click the link in the description to see if you qualify to work with me. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I really hope you're taking action on this information that I'm giving out because quite frankly, I've never seen anyone else give this stuff for free on the internet, and I've done plenty of research, okay? Guys, my calendar's booked every single day. I'm so excited to be working with a lot of you. These videos have gone much better than expected. Channel's growing rapidly. So if you enjoy these videos and you want me to continue posting them every single day for you, make sure you smash the like button, share this with a friend or family that needs to see it, and always subscribe. I appreciate you. I love you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Peace.